Well, there we are. Uh,
Hello and welcome to Mirador Television. We are the biggest little TV in the world, based in Lewes, East Sussex in England. Our aim is to entertain and to spice things up a little. We will also keep an eye on the local politics, because let's face it, someone has to. Our programs range from stories about the local people to stories about people from all the way across the pond. Brought to you by our wonderful colleagues in New York. So why not sit back, relax with your favourite cuppa, or maybe your favourite tipple, and enjoy. This is Mirador Television.
well, here we are. And actually, the turnaround from radio to television took me less than a minute this morning. So why is it now 8:09? Is because, as I usually do, is I got through, I saw myself on the screen, I got everything ready, punched one button, and then forgot to punch the second to send us live. So there I was again, beating my gums, as the Jamaicans would say, and no sound coming out at all. But here we are at long last. So let's now take a look at the headlines this morning. And actually, the Daily Express has diverged from the rest because it says disgraceful. Now SAS heroes face trial. Um, and I have to say that, look, I understand that some soldiers may actually perpetrate nasty things. Certainly in for instance, the Russians entering Berlin were just dreadful as far as women were concerned. But then the Vandus, the Belgian regiment, were pretty vicious too. Soldiers are trained to be nasty, and now that they're nasty on our behalf, that we actually take them to court for it, is a bit naughty and a bit nasty on our behalf too. It's not fair, and they do things because they are trained to do them, and we send them out there and they put their lives on the line. And I agree with the Express; it's disgraceful. And I'm sure all those Republicans and libertarians who get up and say, "Oh no, no, blah, 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 blah." Well, whenever I express an opinion, been there, done that. I put in my time. I put in 15 years in Northern Ireland. 15 years in Northern Ireland, right at the height of the Troubles. So don't come crawling to me and telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about. I do. And I had a lot to do with the army, and I had a lot to do with the paramilitaries, in some instances with the naughty people, as journalists sometimes do. But so, yes, it's disgraceful, and I thought that it was all over. I thought that they'd sorted themselves out, but apparently not. The Financial Times, Bitcoin tumbles 50% because China has cracked down on cryptocurrency, and it was bound to come to an end. It was a bubble, wasn't it? So if you are into Bitcoins, watch out, because it's not going to be quite as simple to make the fortune as it appeared to be before. And also watch out for the scammers. They're out in force. Right, the Metro is reporting that we are going to have a review of rail fares, and it's about time too. Not only that, but they say that they claim that it'll be in time for June the 21st. Now, to sort out the complex system of fares in such a short period of time is if it got anything to do with the government. Normally, what would happen is it would go to a white paper, a green paper, a red paper, a blue paper, and in about 3 years' time, the prime minister would come back and say, "Well, it wasn't under my watch; it was under the last prime minister. But now we'll take a second look at it." But if what they say is true, we may see an improvement. Oh, here we go. Always at the same time every morning. What time is that? 8:10. I wonder why that is. Anyway, we won't be seem quite as iniquitous when we're asked to pay on one route £50 single and or return and £49 single. TV star sex scandal time bomb, according to the Daily Mirror. Well, I'm really getting very fed up about all this. Let's uncover all the sexual things. And when it comes down to it, it really is. It quite often people are charged because they nipped somebody's bum, male or female. I can remember my daughter. It was in Via Reggio in northern Italy when she was about 14, I guess, and she was a very good-looking chick, if I may put it that way, and she still is. But I can remember that she had her bottom pinched by an Italian who passed by, and she felt that she'd come of age. So different people look at things in a different way. And if you've got an opinion, that's fine. Put it into the pot. Let's argue and discuss. But trying to lay down the law about what is naughty and what's not is absolute nonsense. Bashir Khan Diana, 2 or 3 stories. This is in the Sun. That and also in the Daily Telegraph. Now there's the sweet and the sour. That Bashir, the journalist, BBC journalist who did the famous interview with Diana, which is said to have ended her marriage to Charles, is said to have conned his way into doing that by spreading a whole pack of lies, and that now the BBC knew about it and that they should be held to account. And the BBC had a couple of internal investigations, and it came to the conclusion that there was nothing to answer. But now it appears that they were selling porkies. They weren't being very nice at all. Prince William receives COVID-19 vaccine. Breaking news. Do we want to know that? Yes, I suppose we do. Hopes rise for an end to lockdown next month. Right, now that's the Times. Because of the Indian variant and because of mixed messages coming out of Westminster, some doubt has been cast on whether we're really going to throw off the yoke of COVID restrictions, of lockdown restrictions, and go back to what used to be an ordinary way of life. Although I don't know. I went and had lunch yesterday in a pub. The first time that I've done that in a long time. It's a pub that I've known the waiters, even after a long time, recognised me, and I sat and had a light lunch. And actually, I didn't have beer. I had Uh, a sort of a ginger beer that's got alcohol in it. Would you believe? It's okay. I quite enjoy that. Um, and I could have. There was nobody in. So this big rush back to the pubs has not materialized. And there was an item yesterday in one of the papers. It said that publicans are really worried that we're not going back to our old way of going to stand at the bar. Not that we're allowed to stand at the bar at the moment. So whether 17th of June we'll see something different, I don't know. But the runes are not good for us going back to doing a lot of the things that we did prior to lockdown, and that there are going to be victims, and some of those victims will be pubs. Now, I personally, if I was prime minister, would pass a law to say you can't, two things you can't close down. One are ancient churches, and the other are pubs. Um, that they, to me, those are the two sacred items in our life, in our world, and it looks as if perhaps going back to the pub isn't going to be going back to the pub as we knew it. And uh, if that's the case, the end of lockdown is going to see a lot of different things, not least of which is the most controversial is holidays. Can we take them? Can't we take them? Once again, mixed messages. And not the Guardian, they go along with the Times, except they put a different slant on it. Freedom plan may be diluted after sharp rise in COVID variant. Yeah, I mean, we're getting it back, and yeah, it the government has to do what it's got to do, but I think it's handling it in a cat-handed way, and it's not telling us much about what's going on. So where are we? 8:18. You see how where the time goes? I have no idea. But the big thing is go on holiday, but don't go on holiday. Says the Daily Star, and that tweaking the beaks of the people in Westminster, both politicians and and civil servants, who are saying you can go on holiday. No, you can't go on holiday. And perhaps you can go on holiday. And nobody can make up their minds. And the Star does it in a very gentle and funny way. But the most significant thing, as far as I'm concerned, about the holiday issue, well, there are two things. One is that I think it's the Metro that is reporting that when people are coming back from abroad to Heathrow or all the airports, that they are lining up for immigration, and that people from red countries and people from green countries are standing in the same queue. Now, what does that do, and what message does that send? So, if that's the case, once again, bureaucracy has managed to cock it up big time. But what the Daily Mail is saying is that the police to knock on your door, holiday police, and that is if you've been on holiday and you come back, one of the requirements is that you self isolate for 2 weeks or whatever, and that now the police will be able to knock on the door to make sure that you are. Now, I think that this is all going too far because government is squeezing our freedoms, and before you know it, they will pass laws that take away the freedoms that we have traditionally known in the United Kingdom. Now, I've been hammering on about this for quite some time, and even my friends have said, Keith, come on, that never happened here. Well, it is slowly happening, and it's very easy to say that it won't happen here. And that's no reassurance whatsoever that it won't happen, that our freedoms as individuals, never mind about freedom of the press is free because you, the populace, need to have a free medium, a free group of independent reporters, if you like, to tell us what's going on. And if that is being slowly eroded, then we are in dire trouble. And this police to knock on your door is nothing to do with the media. This is to do with you as an individual. The police can actually knock on the door and say, "Are you at home?" And if one of you isn't, boy, are you in for the high jump because you didn't follow the rules. You know, maybe you just decide to go for a pint. But there are lots of things that are coming out of lockdown that are distasteful and not suitable to a free society. Now, what is freedom? Of course, we've got to be bound by a certain amount of rules. But remember the saying that they used in the Second World War. Rules are for the observance of fools and the guidance of wise men. And unfortunately, we are not getting much of the wise men stuff. We're not getting it much from government. We're not getting it much from the establishment, like NHS. We're not getting it certainly from the financial sector, either the banks or the credit card companies or any of those associated financial institutions, which are now run by computers and seem to be happy to be do so, and have taken away any initiative from those people who are on the front line and deal with us. And that's not good enough. Throw the bloody computers into the sea and start again. Of course, we need computers. I couldn't be doing this without computers. But the fact of the matter is if you allow computers to rule you, then that's an abuse of freedom. And we are going to run a thing called Naughty Monkeys. And I had, yes, Amex stays at the top of the list. A most insensitive organization now. And yet, even though it was considered to be non-EU because it charged more and you couldn't use it in many stores, it was always a good company, a good organization. And I went down to the American Express Bank. We're doing my days in Reuters and enjoyed some lunches down there in which we were given backgrounders on what was happening in the news, in the financial news. It was a good and well-run company, and it thought carefully about the people that it had as clients, customers, whatever you want to call them. Well, it doesn't anymore. Now, if you're 2 minutes late and £1 overdrawn or whatever, is the hound or well, they're hound dogs. They call you at any hour of the night. They call you on holidays. And I have to say that we did tweak one tail because one called one morning while we were on the air. And I let the conversation go for a little while. So everybody knew what we were talking about and what their attitude was of American Express. So they stay on the naughty list. Sky. I've never had any problems with Sky up until now, but I'm moving. And I wrote a nice letter to them, said I'd cancel the standing order or whatever it is that pays you because I don't know where I'm going to be, but I will renew your service the moment I know my permanent address. So what do? I get one of these naughty letters, computer generated, right? They'll come back and say, "Oh, terribly sorry, we didn't mean it. It was well. I'm not sure that I'm going to go back with Sky now as a consequence of this because that letter was a naughty letter. It was harassing. It was brutal. It was bullying. And if Sky have gone that way too, then let's hope that there are other people coming along to topple them from their throne. They're on the naughty list. A couple more on the naughty list. I just can't think who they are right now." Anyway, let's just because we're a truncated program this morning. Let's show a couple of commercials for those people who have given us great support.
My name's Yad and welcome to my shop, Bell & Co. We specialise in mid-century furniture, 50s, 60s and 70s mainly. One of our main ethoses here is very much encouraging people to look at older pieces of furniture rather than buying new or buying flat pack. We're very much environmentally based in trying to encourage people to reuse and reimagine objects, and so we spend a lot of time restoring pieces, reupholstering pieces and bring them back to life generally. They're just fantastic to look at and they're just beautiful items at really, really affordable prices.
Vanessa from Catching Tales, and we've been open here for about 2.5 years. We specialise in focaccia genovese, which is this focaccia, like that. And my mum and I went to Italy, to Genova, to learn to make focaccia, which is an ancient art. Then we do little salad pots, sauces, fresh pasta, stuff to take home and cook. We try to get locally to support other local businesses. We have a few cocktails in bottles, which is why we're called Catch and Tales. We're open 6 days a week, Monday to Saturday, to come by and see us anytime.
Roundabout has been going for 35 years. We're a dress agency, so what we do is we sell on behalf of people. The customer gets 50% of the price and we take 50%. The online shop is roundaboutlewis.com. I try and update it, daily when things come in. We're open Tuesday to Saturday, 9:30 till 4:30. So if you're looking for gifts or a dress for yourself, why not visit?
And why not give them all a visit? I have. They're quite interesting shops. Anyway, it's coming up to it's 8:28. I think time to say goodbye. We've been with you for an hour, partly on radio, partly on television, as we prepare to change our entire format. We want to bring you closer to people elsewhere in the world. We want to bring people elsewhere in the world closer to you. So we're looking very carefully at the way we do things, and bit by bit. Let me mention that there'll be a couple of things, hopefully up tomorrow, but if not, to help bring us into next week. One is that Susan Harris has been out with her camera. I got a lovely collection of photographs, and for technical reasons, I haven't been able to put them together the way that I wanted to. So we can expect some really good pictures from Susan. And also, Terry has been scouting the world. She's got a lovely interview with a silversmith in Lewis, and that will be coming up too in the not too distant future. And she's a bright girl, and she's digging into the surface and trying to bring us people that we normally wouldn't have access to. So those things are in the offing, in the wings. For the moment, it's 8:29. It's time for us, I think, to go home. So we'll say a goodbye, and in our traditional way, letting you know who we are. Until tomorrow, toodle pip.